It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. Sunny skies this morning with some clouds later today in the good land. Today's high is 77. It's currently 56 degrees here in Milwaukee.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call.
It's time to wake up, Wisconsin.
Wake me up! All right, rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. Come on, hop, hop, hop.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Wake up, Daddy Sean.
Here's your host, Josh Albrecht.
There's a bunt in the air. Ortiz snacks it, throw it at first in time. What a play. Ortiz, fly ball to right, got some barrel on it, and it is going to be down in front of the wall. Mitchell scores. Vaughn lumbering his way to the plate. He will score. Joey O with a belly flop triple. Crunch time here. 2 outs, 9th inning. Haven't seen a swing and a miss by a Mets hitter yet against McGill. That's on the ground. What a play. Ortiz to his feet. Joey Ortiz with a defensive gem. Have a game, Joey O. The Brewers win 4-3.
See, Aaron, what I tell you yesterday, everything's going to be okay, right? That was the mentality I had. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to still take care of the series.
Yeah, you're the optimistic person
that's
in the building.
Yep, that's me, Mr. Optimist over here. Good morning, Wisconsin. It's the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. I'm Josh Albrecht. That's Aaron Morris, and we're happy to have you on board. Shout out to Brian Anderson and Brewers TV there for the calls of Joey Ortiz being the hero in yesterday's game. We got a ton to talk about in regards to the Brewers and their win 4-3 over the New York Mets, plus a bunch of other things that happened yesterday.
Hey, what happened?
But we're going to start there. As I said, the Brewers beat the Mets 4-3. They win another series. Again, we cannot stress enough, I think, how important getting that first win of the series is when we look at the rest of the series. If we lost that first game, I'm freaking out about the second one, right? So it was just, it's great that they did that. And then we see a little bit of offense early, not 7th, 8th, and 9th innings in yesterday's game. That was also a positive. Loved that. But the big news, obviously, Joey Ortiz continuing to be Joey Ortiz. First of all, he goes 3 for 3, had a triple, double, a single, didn't get the home run, but I did love that he was on Cycle Watch. Everyone was all about it. They booed his walk.
Poor Daniel Duarte.
The fans boo a Joey Ortiz walk because they wanted him to have a shot at the cycle. The Brewers social media team, I don't know if you saw that. Did you see they had a graphic ready to go for if he hit the cycle, and they still wanted to share it, so they scratch out the home run. They put a based on balls.
And then put almost
a cycle. I was like, is that the first time there's ever been an almost hit for the cycle graphic shared by a professional team?
Graphic. It was a good graphic, so I'm sure the person who created it was like, I spent 2 hours on this thing.
See?
Half hour on this thing.
That is the perfect response for anyone who doesn't understand what goes into running social media and making graphics. And it takes time.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, especially some older people, think, the kids do this all the time. This takes a second. No,
It takes
No, it doesn't.
yeah.
It takes some time. You want to share it.
They probably have some template for it, but there's probably 12 things on that graphic that they had to change for Joey Ortiz.
Absolutely. Plus, you think they just had a Joey Ortiz cycle graphic sitting in the wings?
They probably had a cycle graphic. So then they had to put the triple, double, single walk in order. Then they had to put Joey there. Then they had to put the cycle around. So there was multiple.
Point is, they didn't have Joey Ortiz cycle
right.
graphic ready to go. No, that wasn't a thing. They didn't have that. But they needed it yesterday. Almost needed it yesterday. Joey Ortiz, not only great at the plate, also had 2 huge defensive plays, which you heard there in the open. One right away in the second inning on a bunt. That play was amazing. I think I was almost more impressed with that one than the stab and throw to end the game.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think Brian Anderson said, I don't remember who bunted, but got to first base in 4.05 seconds.
Yeah.
And Joey Ortiz was shifted on the bunt. Bunt bounces sideways. He has to glove that, so he can't barehand it. So he's got to take longer there, and still threw him out by half a step.
Right.
It wasn't like, in the grand scheme of close plays, wasn't that close.
Yeah. It was an incredible play. And then, of course, it was just, the last play to end the game with McGill struggling a little bit on the mound, not able to strike a guy out. For Joey O to just do what he does defensively was a cherry on top of a fantastic day.
I've got a quiz for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
I usually do terrible at these, so let's do it.
Okay. I think you're going to do really well on this one.
I doubt it.
Okay. I promise you're going to get this.
Okay.
There is a player that I have in mind. I have his stats up. In his last 30 games, hitting 295, his on base plus slugging, so his OPS is 830. That's in his last 30. In his last 15, 362 batting average with an OPS of 1114, if my math is correct. And then over the last 7 games, he's hitting 381 with a 1290 OPS. Can you guess who that player might be?
Is it Joey Ortiz?
Yes.
Oh,
you got it.
Yes, I nailed it. I saw that
You're
same
so
stat.
good at quizzes.
I saw that graphic too.
Like,
it is what changed? What changed?
What changed? He started playing third base.
That's what it was.
Did you see the Bryce Wilson stats from Jack Stern?
No, that one I did.
Okay, so Joey Ortiz, when Bryce Wilson isn't a member of the Milwaukee Brewers, 736 plate appearances, batting 228 with a 594 OPS and a 67 OPS plus, so way below average. Joey Ortiz, when he and Bryce Wilson have been teammates on the Brewers, 543 plate appearances, 246 with a 752 OPS and a 110 OPS plus. So significantly better and an above average hitter.
Sounds like a good reason to have signed Bryce Wilson.
So Bryce Wilson and Cooper Pratt have they have permanent spots on the Brewers as long as Joey Ortiz is on the Brewers.
Yep. As long as he keeps being this version of Joey O. Yelich also in the lineup, and we're going to play some highlights of his in the most electrifying sound of the day. But that was clutch for Yelich to be not only there, but be in the lineup. We were talking with our boy Charlie about what we would want the lineup to look like, a perfect lineup. And he brought up having Gary Sanchez in there in the DH. You said I'd take Yelich over him. You got your wish. The lineup yesterday was essentially exactly what I wanted it to be. Jake Bauers didn't have a good day, but I was still happy that he was in the lineup. And so then you add Yelich, and there you go. Yelich has a triple.
Yeah, I think that's my ideal lineup, what they had yesterday.
I think that's mine too. And then you had Logan Henderson on the mound, and he goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 home runs, but 2 earned runs, and 9 strikeouts. And there was one point in the 5th inning when I thought about, hey, they're leaving him out there. I think there was a guy on second, and they let him go, and he got out of it. He got out of the inning, and he finished the inning. And that didn't happen with Sproat. And I went, it's just the pitch count. That was the difference. That was 2 exact similar situations for a starting pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers 2 days in a row. Brandon Sproat and Logan Henderson. Murph comes out, pulls Sproat, leaves Henderson. Only difference is pitch count. And I'm going, okay, so if we were complaining about why didn't Murph let Sproat try to get out of it on Tuesday, but let Henderson get out of it on Wednesday, either he doesn't trust Sproat as much, or it's just that his pitch count was higher. I'm going, it's a pitch count. That's been the biggest fault of Sproat all season long.
I think it's both. I think it's the pitch count, and they trust Logan Henderson to get out of situations like that. I wouldn't trust Brandon Sproat to get out of situations like that. I would trust Logan Henderson. I thought it was a great idea to leave him in there, even with a completely healthy bullpen outside of Bryce Wilson and probably Chad Patrick, although he might have been able to throw yesterday. But either way, healthy bullpen. They could have easily gone to, I don't know, Craig Yoho. They've gone to him early in these kind of situations. Maybe they could have gone to him. Maybe they could have gone to Ashby in that situation a little, maybe earlier than they would have originally, or how they did use him. But they go with Henderson. I like the move, and I trust Logan Henderson to do that. Yeah. He's got, you know what? He's got to pitch in those situations if he's going to be a member of the October rotation. So he's got to do it at some point. Right?
Yeah.
You said yesterday, you got to have it. You're talking about the lineup, but you got to do it at some point. You have to have it happen.
Right.
So you got to have
Logan
do it
at
at
the first
some point
time in October.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. Love that.
Hey, what happened?
The Cubs lost 5-1 to the Tigers.
Womp, womp.
They are back to 7 games behind the Brewers. And I'm seeing here, I didn't see this news, but is this true?
It's huge news. Yeah.
The
It's
Cubs
real.
signed Greg Jones?
Yes.
Why?
When is enough for them?
Why did they sign Greg Jones?
What? I don't know. Intel? Like what? I mean, just
Tell us the
off
secrets?
of the top of my head right now, Hobie Milner, Aaron Savale, Bryce Wilson, Jake Woodford, and Greg Jones have all played for the Brewers this year.
No,
or for
Aaron
the
Savale
for the Cubs this year. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's currently on the Cubs.
Right. I mean, Colin Ray, also former Brewer,
Colin Ray,
who also played yesterday.
but I'm talking guys who like played this year that were on the Brewers last year or this year.
Yeah.
They have all of them, and they are all bad for the most part.
I don't know, but I think that's
why
hilarious.
do they keep doing this?
Greg Jones specifically, I think, is absolutely hilarious.
I'll see if I can find the post that I saw it on. Is just an MLB rumors. Yeah.
But
minor league deal.
More importantly is that the Cubs lost 5-1 to the Tigers. And for Brewers fans, I told you this, at the beginning of the week, I'm definitely to the point to where I am now standing watching, I guess, in regards to the Cubs. I'm watching how many games the Cubs either get close to or fall behind the Brewers every day, on top of watching how the Brewers do. Seeing them back at 7, we talked about it. What's the number that you feel comfortable with? Being like, okay, now we can start focusing on the next piece. We had a lot of you guys chiming in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, saying, I'm not going to be satisfied until it's locked up, until that magic number hits 0. We talked to Rami. Rami said if it's not already there, he thinks once it hits double digits, I need more than 10. But I feel like if it hits like 12 games, that's significant. The only thing that I will say that goes against a specific number of games and makes you want to side with the people saying it's not over until it's over is,
Hey, what happened?
what's going on with the Red Sox right now? The Red Sox won their 15th straight game. They I don't think they have a burger special. I don't think I don't know what the George Webb's equivalent in Boston would be. We'd have to talk to Thunder about
had a
that.
16 game like George Webb type thing, and then they lost that second game of the doubleheader last night, and they lose the doubleheader. That would have been
something.
Yeah.
But so just looking at them and what they're doing. First, remember they were awful. Caleb Durbin. Remember when we were talking about Caleb Durbin? And I mean, we were worried he wasn't going to stay in the league.
You remember when we were talking about potentially acquiring Sonny Gray or Aroldis Chapman?
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, nope.
not anymore.
They are in the playoffs as of today by 2 games.
And that's why it's so it's fun in sports radio to have the hypotheticals, to have those conversations of, well, what about if we went and got this guy? Well, what if we got, but really, unless a team is just doing okay or poorly and has a big contract coming up and they know they're not going to re-sign him, it's, you don't know until you know. You don't know until the trade deadline if a team is truly a buyer or a seller. We spent a lot of time saying Chapman. Now we can. He's off the board. There's no way that Boston's moving him when they're on this hot streak. They're not messing with anything.
Okay, I've got a question for you in terms of maybe teams that are saying, hey, we're out of it, or teams that are going to say, hey, we're sellers at the deadline, because it's a little bit easier now to pretend to be a contender, right, with the extra wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, in the American League, the Orioles and Twins are both 3 back. The Astros are 3.5 back of the final wild card spot. I'll throw the Tigers in there, 4.5 because of Skubal.
Yep.
In the National League, the Padres are 3 games back of the final wild card spot, and there's 4 teams ahead of them. Who are sellers and who are thinking they're contenders in that group of teams there that the Brewers might be able to go and say, we want that guy.
That's so
and those teams would be willing to do that.
So that's exactly my point, Aaron, is that because there are teams that are that close to still being in it with 2 months of baseball left, the only way that teams are moving on from a player that the Brewers would want is if they know they're going to lose him anyway. And then what they're going to want in return is going to change. It's not going to be just prospects. If I'm like, I think I saw something posted on some MLB Twitter account that said the Tigers, if they're going to move Skubal, they want like long-term a starting pitcher that's ready to go now. They realize they're not out of it. They're still trying to make a push to be in a wild card position, or who knows, make a run for whatever they end up doing. But they're saying, yeah, we understand we're probably not holding on to Skubal.
What about the Twins, though? I mean, they're 3 back, but they're probably not very, I mean, they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're probably not a good team. They're probably not better than the teams around them in the wild card race.
Sure.
So are they willing to part with a piece like a Joe Ryan, who has another year of control for next year? Like,
I honestly don't. I think
3
they
back
still
is
have,
like, wow, you have a chance. But the Twins are probably the worst team out of any of the teams that I named.
Things can change at any point.
Yeah.
We were saying the same thing about the Red Sox.
The Astros are 3.5 back.
Right. The point is it's a tight race. There's a lot of teams that aren't going to do it. That's why I'm saying, even in the case of the Twins, I don't know that you can focus on it's all about leverage. Right.
How about the Padres with Mason Miller? They're under 500 right now.
Yeah.
Now only 3 games back, but they're under 500, which means you're probably
but they're only 3 games back.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that any of these teams won't be sellers or that they won't be willing to negotiate. But for a Brewers team that is super conservative on going all in and that looks for the right deals and looks for those diamonds in the rough that then they polish up in the pitching lab or whatever else area to, because Andrew Vaughn obviously wasn't in the pitching lab, but to make these guys better than they were, that doesn't happen all the time.
If you were a Padres fan, would you want them to trade Mason Miller at the deadline? You're 50-52.
No.
Okay.
I absolutely wouldn't. Because in my opinion, if I'm a fan and I watch my team do that, I'm saying we're giving up on the season. That's what I'm equating that to. Unless they trade him and get a huge haul for him that isn't just prospects that are going to be playing in 3 or 4 years. If they get guys that are helping the team now. That's the thing, though. The Brewers don't have pieces that they can legitimately trade to a team that a team's going to look at and go, oh, we can win now with these guys. Any team that's looking at the Milwaukee Brewers are going to be looking at them and going, we want a piece of that farm system. We want a piece of those guys that you are all touting and talking about in the minors.
You don't think the Brewers could entice the Tigers, for instance, with Tarek Skubal with Logan Henderson? He's an MLB ready pitcher.
Yeah,
He could come right now and go into the Tigers rotation, and boom, he's one of their better pitchers.
Yep, and they won't. I think the Brewers are too conservative to do that. I don't think that's my point.
But
they don't want to give up a Logan Henderson. I mean, this goes back to the hypotheticals. I don't.
Yeah.
We could talk about it. It could be fun.
Aggressive,
it's not what the Brewers do.
If they were aggressive, would you be interested in that kind of trade? Getting Skubal for half a year to make a World Series run in exchange for Logan Henderson?
I don't. No.
Okay.
I don't think I would. I don't. I think that honestly, I think that Skubal might be one of the only guys that is out there that makes the Tigers don't have leverage, because they have to move him at some point or they're not going to get anything for him. All the other pieces, including Miller in San Diego, they still have him for a year. They have
Miller for 3 years after this.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah.
So they have all those other scenarios. What did you say? Ryan? Was Ryan
Joe
the one that
Ryan
they had 1 year?
A year after this.
Okay.
As well.
So even the Twins, if things don't work out for the Twins, they can come back and go, all right, we can trade him during the offseason.
Yeah.
We have other plans that we can go with. That gives them the leverage. The Tigers might be the only one that isn't a situation to where they don't have as much leverage as maybe they think they do. Either way, for a conservative Brewers team that keeps winning baseball games, I would be very, very surprised to see them go in for a player on teams that are questionable at the trade deadline. Definitely not sellers. All right, we're going to get to some of your texts and answer the question, how'd you sleep? How'd you sleep last night? That's coming up on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. I'm Josh Albrecht. That's Aaron Morris. And we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Sports Wake-Up Call. Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morris on the other side. I wish that this bump back wasn't so much of the intro. Like, get to this point earlier in the song. Just saying. Be better, bump. Bag of bumps, come on. So Be Better Thursday.
Save that for an hour from now.
That's right.
Yep.
We'll get that in. Right now, it's time for How'd You Sleep? We go to the Nicolay Law fan talking text line. Bob in Minneapolis,
I don't think
he's sleeping like crap.
I was going to say, I don't think he sleeps ever.
I think he does, but I think it's just from like 2 a.m. to like 3:30 a.m. I think he gets like a solid hour and a half. He chimes in. He says, why would anyone believe the Brewers will do anything at the trade deadline? They find every excuse possible not to do anything. Better question, what is the excuse this year? Boy, oh boy, Bob, rough. That's rough. T in La Crosse said, for Henderson, this is verbal clickbait. The Brewers are not doing a thing. I think there's two different points there. I agree with T for the most part on the Henderson thing. Right?
I'm not trying to clickbait anyone.
I don't think that they're not moving Henderson. They're definitely not. They're too conservative to do that. They wouldn't do that.
Sure,
for Skubal. They're not.
But I'm saying if some team is looking for controllable pitching, the Brewers have it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not clickbaiting anyone. I'm not saying the Brewers are trading Logan Henderson. I never said that.
Sure.
So,
right. Yeah. Well, you were putting
he's
it out
verbal
there as a
clickbaiting.
hypothetical.
Yeah, right. But I didn't say they're going to do it or they're interested in doing it.
I don't know. I agree with.
I think T's verbal clickbaiting.
All right, calm down. Also, you can watch us on the Growth Law video stream on Instagram Live, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and more at WI Sports Radio. Injured Growth gets it. Aaron, trademark registered on YouTube, watching us, says, nobody obvious, then probably not happening. Maybe they'll surprise us with more guys from left field, pun intended. Yeah, I think guys, at this point, there were a few pieces that we were looking at and we were saying, oh, wouldn't it be fun if the Brewers got this? This is a thing that happens across all Wisconsin sports. It happens more with the Packers, honestly, where news comes out of guys that are free agents or that are unhappy with their current team. And we go, oh, what about if that guy? What if the Packers went and got that guy? It happened with Micah Parsons. And that was it. Besides that, it's always, well, they're part of the conversation. They're listening, but it never ended up coming to fruition. Right? With the Brewers, we can go and we can look at all these guys, and we have for years. It's been, if they could just get this guy, if they just made this, they went and they got CC, right? That was like their push. They haven't done anything like that since. It's not what they do. They find little pieces that then can help bolster them, or they use the idea of, we're getting this guy back from injury. That's just as good as going out and making a trade for this guy. That's what the Brewers do.
Yeah, Brandon Lockridge is their deadline acquisition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect example of what the story might end up being for the Milwaukee Brewers at the trade deadline. I would be surprised if they didn't go and make a trade in some way, shape, or form for someone else. I don't think it's going to be nothing, which is where I disagree with T. I don't think it's going to be nothing. I think that they're going to get somebody, but it's not going to be somebody we're talking about. It's not going to be, it's going to be like McCullers. It's going to be someone where okay, it's this guy. Let me quickly go try to find all the information I can on him because he wasn't on the radar. He wasn't a person I was looking for or at. And now I'm trying to figure out how he works into all of this. The other thing is that just think about the conversations we were having 2 months ago in comparison to the conversations we're having today. We were talking about legitimate, we need Skubal. We were talking about needing help on the left side of the infield. We were talking about worrying about that and if we're legitimately going to make a push. Now we have Joey Ortiz changing things. Now getting better. Who knows how long that'll last? We'll get to that in a minute. But you look at how much things can change, and that's why we ride that roller coaster of a 162-game season. And the people that are in charge of the Brewers organization don't make the moves as drastically as fan bases want them to, because things can change. They have to. They are the ones that realize the risk more than we do. So that's why, as a realist, I try to stay steady and go, I don't know if they're going to make these moves, even if I want them to emotionally.
Oh, see,
I don't think they will.
I don't even have to think. I don't know if they'll make these moves. I know they won't, because they're soft and they don't care about winning a World Series in the grand scheme of things.
Okay.
They don't. If they were serious about it.
Bob in Minneapolis?
Hey,
did Bob in Minneapolis just somehow end up in the studio
I'm
right
on
now?
Bob in Minneapolis' side way more than the average person, I would say. They haven't shown to care about a World Series yet, in my opinion.
Because what? What move haven't they made?
Any
that
move
makes you go,
you can't point out a move that's never happened. You can't prove a negative, but make a move in past years. They've never made the
so
big
you
move.
just want them to make a move.
I want them to make multiple moves.
But I'm telling you,
it's time to do it.
So I'm asking, what move haven't they made that is having you feel like Bob in Minneapolis?
Right now?
Yeah.
Starting pitcher, relief pitcher, another hitter, probably a third baseman or a corner outfielder.
We just talked about the fact that the outfield is full. We're still trying to figure out what we're doing with Yelich.
There's improvements to be had.
Ortiz is playing much better.
Yep.
We talked about that for 10 minutes. Where do you want this guy?
I don't trust Joey Ortiz yet to continue to do this.
No, man, you slept terribly.
But all right, we'll remember this in October when Joey Ortiz goes 2 for 17 in a series against the Dodgers or against the Phillies or Braves, and they lose because of it. But I'm not saying that, hey, this is great for Ortiz. This is great for the Brewers that Ortiz is figuring it out. I myself am just not ready to be like, oh yeah, we're good now at third base.
Yeah,
because of a month streak of normal hitting.
Again, Aaron, what's the move that you wanted them to make that they haven't made yet? To be able to just
Skubal, Joe Ryan, Mason Miller, I don't care, any of them.
Just go get one of those three guys, and then you're flipping your stance.
No, they probably need to get one or both of those, a reliever and a starting pitcher.
What about if they get those, but neither of them are the big name guys? What about if they go get another starting pitcher or a relief pitcher, but they're not
like at what level? Equate it to a Brewers starter right now.
I'm saying, like, what about if they go get another McCullers? If they just get a guy that's
not even close to good enough.
Okay, so essentially, you are setting yourself up to be disappointed. This Brewers team.
Because I know it's not going to happen, so I won't be disappointed. I know what's coming.
You're
I'm just
already
saying
disappointed.
Wrong. Yeah, because I know it's not going to happen.
Well, that's pretty crappy. Knowing that the Brewers continue to win,
I've been
they're
disappointed
tied for the
since
best
February.
record in baseball.
I've been disappointed since February. And I haven't. There's a texter and said, I want them to make a move just to make a move. That's wrong. I want them to make a move because they're not good enough to make a World Series, to win the World Series right now. That's why I want them to make a move. And they need to add a starting pitcher, add a reliever,
right,
and probably another bat somewhere.
All right,
to help supplement the offense.
All right, Aaron, let me try to help you here. Okay, we're gonna hold on. I'm putting the show in park. Okay, I'm putting the show in park right now. Let me help you here. You're looking at a Brewers team that is in first place.
Yep,
they're tied for the best record in baseball. Yep. They are seeing improvement from the pieces that we spent multiple months in the beginning of the season complaining about, talking about. Okay. And while I agree that moves will still be made, still need to be made in some way, probably more depth, something to that effect. We just got done. Go back in your head 15 minutes ago and look at the conversation we just had about all of those teams that are still in the running. That have all the players you just named on them. And you are saying you won't be satisfied unless we go and get one or two of those guys.
Yeah.
Because I just got done talking about how we don't have the leverage in those situations.
You have plenty of prospects. You have plenty of prospects to trade.
No, stop. No, we don't.
What do you mean? They have the number one system in baseball.
Yes, I understand, but the point is that the Brewers would have to give up more than it's worth to have that opportunity.
Nothing is worth more than a World Series.
It's not a guarantee.
That's
They can
fine.
get Scooble
That's
and
fine.
not make it to the World Series.
That's fine. I don't need a guarantee. That's fine. I just want a real shot. I want a real shot.
Do you think they didn't have a real shot last year?
Yes. And they didn't. They got mollywopped by the Dodgers. They didn't have a single shot against the Dodgers last year. And it's the same story. It's the same thing as last year. Best record. Look how good they're playing. Oh, hey, Caleb Durbin, he's playing a lot better than the start of the season when we were complaining about him. It's the same thing over again. It's the same season as last year. They're better than last year. No doubt. They're better than last year. They have more of a shot this year than last year to beat the Dodgers. For sure. I'm just not certain they can beat the Dodgers right now. Or the Braves or Phillies, let's say. I think they're probably pretty even with the Braves and Phillies right now.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't think that adding a Scooble to this rotation puts them ahead of the Dodgers. I don't. He's only pitching one day. Okay? And I'm sorry, he's also not going to do what CC Sabathia did. It's not the same situation.
I'd rather
not
take the
a
chance.
Savior of this team. It's not how baseball works anymore. There are multiple pieces. There's a reason why we talk all season long about beating the Dodgers and what it's going to take to beat the Dodgers. Having that one move isn't going to be enough. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying that where we were, the discussions we were having about a Scooble, a Ryan, a Miller, all of these guys has changed so much.
Make an offer they can't refuse.
Other teams are exactly.
Make an offer they can't refuse.
You want to sell the farm. That's what it comes down to. You want to sell the farm.
I want to
for
sell
a shot.
a good chunk of the farm.
No, you want to sell the farm.
No, because even if you sell Pena and let's say Caro Ordinges and let's say Lara and Bishop Ledson and everybody but Jesus Made, Andrew Fisher, and Josh Adamszewski should be available. If you're talking about their top prospects.
All right, we're going to take a break. I'm going to try to slap some sense into Aaron Morris. I don't know how it's going to go. I see all of your texts, all of the texts coming in now on the Nicolay Law
That's fine.
Fan Talking text line. We're going to get to some of those after the most electrifying sound of the day, where Christian Yelich also had quite a day yesterday. It's okay, everyone. It's okay. You're still going to enjoy your day. I promise you. More of the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call on the other side. We'll be right back. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for the
most electrifying,
sound of the day.
the most electrifying.
Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
1-1, Yelich, center field. That is way back there. Ewing on the run, and he cannot get it. Takes a huge bounce. In to score Ortiz. Yelich on his way to third, and he's in there. An RBI triple. Christian Yelich makes it 4-2 Brewers.
Christian Yelich with the triple call, courtesy of Brian Anderson and Brewers TV, is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. We're going to get more conversation about Christian Yelich in the 7 o'clock hour, but we got to get to the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line here to talk about what just happened. Whatever it is that just happened on the last segment. Aaron is heated. He is fired up, and we're going to get to some of these. So I'm going to read through this. All right, here we go. Let me see here. So first, the 414 said, an uneducated Brewers fan says, I want them to make a move just to make a move. I don't think that's what he's saying, but that was your point. Annie wants to know what's wrong with you this morning. I think you just didn't sleep well. The 262 says, trade Joey O, Sal, and or Gasser for a solid bat or two. Ms. Harrison and Henderson is a solid top three pitcher rotation. Runs win games, even if the other team doesn't score because of our good pitching. 920 said he's unrealistic. He knows nothing. That's talking about you. I don't think that's true either. Bob in Minneapolis, obviously all over being on your side there. He said he said they haven't made a move in how many years? A move to win a World Series. Again, talking to your point. Pinball David said, this is weird that Josh is trying to be positive and Aaron is the Debbie Downer. Good for you, Josh, turning a new leaf. Yeah, optimism is still weird for me, David. I'm trying to be, I live in the world of realism. Let me go here to the 608. Says the Brewers know that they have to wait to do anything like most teams do to see what happens with the lockout. So there's that. The 920 says best team in baseball. They have as real of a shot as they can get. I know that's so
last year.
I know that's going to get you fired up.
They thought so last year.
The 262 says, Aaron, just be quiet for a second and listen to me. Well, all right. I mean, I think he did. We fought more about it during the break. 414 said, just enjoy it while it lasts, man. If you've been unhappy since February, then you are definitely spoiled.
Spoiled? How can I be spoiled?
I don't know about that. Annie chimes back in and says, I mean, since a couple of our pitchers are out, I do agree we need to get a couple of pitchers to fill that spot. Right. Depth. It coming up with depth. I mean, that's why I said I would be very disappointed if they didn't go and get anybody. They're going to go and get someone else. This is not a situation where I think they're done. They definitely need to bring more bodies in. Nick in Waukesha says, Josh, you're completely missing Aaron's point. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nick. Let's figure it out then. He said he just wants to see a move at the deadline that changes this lineup for the better and gives us the closest chance to winning a World Series. He's not saying anything is a guarantee. I understand.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay, I understand that. My point is that you're saying that the season is done if they don't go and get one of these four guys. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to sit here and go that that's 100% the truth either, especially because I know realistically that the odds of them getting one or multiple of the top pieces that are on the market at the trade deadline is unrealistic. It's unrealistic for the Brewers. It's unrealistic for the Dodgers. Teams just don't go and get the top two pieces that are out there. They just don't do it. And so that's why I'm sitting here going, I'm not going to look at the season with a team that's tied for the best record in baseball and go, well, because they're not going to go get Skubal and Ryan or Skubal and Miller or Ryan and Miller, take your pick of whoever, that the season's done. I'm not going to look at it that way. I don't think that's the case. Annie wants to know, Aaron, do you believe in chemistry on the team?
A little bit, not much, but it does play a factor, but it's a small factor, very small factor.
920 says, is it bad I'm looking forward to the Brewers selling the farm and then still not making the World Series and then hearing Aaron try to stutter his words back?
You can wait for that all you want, but it won't happen. Because if they do go and sell the farm and then they don't win a World Series, I'll just come on each day and say, you know what? It was worth the shot. It was a chance. I'm glad they took the chance. That's what I'll say.
The Brewers, being a small market team, being in the situation they are. I mean, even when we had dealing Doug Melvin, who did not play the let's just get bites of the apple. He pushed the chips in, right? Even when we had him, we didn't go and get two huge names ever. It was never that. They got one, they got a CC, right? And then they lost CC. And then they went and they got Greinke and they made a push. They didn't go get Greinke and this amazing bat.
Maybe they should have.
But my point is that come pack a bag quick.
Give me Joe Ryan.
Just come here for a second and hang out in the world of realism.
Give me Joe Ryan, Isaac Paredes, and a solid reliever. And the Brewers are good to go, and I think they have about as legit of a chance to win a World Series as anyone.
Okay, but even right there, you changed what your expectations. You changed what you're looking for. You just went from they need a Ryan, a Skubal, or a Miller. They need two of those three.
Yeah.
To now saying if you got one of those and two other guys that aren't Miller or Skubal, now
right, but they equaled those players. Like getting let's say Ryan and Miller equals getting Ryan a good reliever and a third baseman.
I think the point that I'm trying to say is that if you are going to look at the rest of this season, knowing where the Brewers sit currently, that they are one of the only teams that have people in place on the team and can go, we're going to be okay. We might not be better than the Dodgers, but we're okay. We need to add some more pieces and think if they don't get two of the three of those guys, bro, you're going to really hate the next 3 months of your life. It's just, that's what realism will tell you.
920 asks, were the Bucks worth it? Sell all the picks and hope for the best. Now what? Nothing but complaints. Do not sell the farm for a non-guaranteed World Series. Newsflash, I don't know if you were alive, but in 2021, they won a championship. So it was worth it. Yes.
Yeah. Again, I don't know that that's the same. Like, they didn't make huge pushes at a trade deadline to bring in.
They made trades over and over and over.
Right. But I'm saying it's not like they sold.
They sold 5 picks for Drew Holiday.
Right, but Drew was there at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We're going to be right back. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Good morning. This is your wake up call.
It's time to wake up, Wisconsin.
Wake me up! All right, rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. Come on, hop, hop, hop.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Wake up, Daddy Shum.
Here's your host, Josh Albrecht.
There's a bunt in the air. Ortiz snacks it, throw to first in time. What a play. Ortiz fly ball to right, got some barrel on it, and it is going to be down in front of the wall. Mitchell scores. Vaughn lumbering his way to the plate. He will score. Joey O with a belly flop triple. Crunch time here. 2 outs, 9th inning. Haven't seen a swing and a miss by a Mets hitter yet against McGill. That's on the ground. What a play. Ortiz to his feet. Joey Ortiz with a defensive gem. Have a game, Joey O. The Brewers win 4-3.
The Brewers win 4-3. They win the series against the Mets. And Joey O, the hero, in yesterday's day game. The Brewers back to 7 games ahead of the Cubs in the division, tied again with the Dodgers for the best record in baseball. Good morning, Wisconsin. This is a Wisconsin Sports Wake-Up Call. I'm Josh Albrecht. Aaron Morris, grumpy Aaron Morris, alongside
Not grumpy
this
one
morning.
bit.
Oh, yes, you are. Aaron, and listen,
I'm
and here's the
doing good.
thing. Listen, we're
I'm
turning
good in the hood.
I'm turning the show around, okay? I'm
All
turning
right.
it around because there's no way that I'm going to have 3 hours of conversation
There's no way
that's
that
leading. Hold on, that's leading to the pessimistic world on a day when we're celebrating a Brewers win, a Cubs loss, and it's not raining outside. Those might be my the 3 things I need to have a good day. Might be those 3 things.
I was gonna
if the Brewers
say-
win, the Cubs lose, and it's not raining outside, I don't know how it can be a bad day.
I was going to say you can't do 3 hours of shows where you're not the pessimist on the show.
You mean the realist?
The pessimist.
No.
Okay. Yeah, see, this is where I have a problem. If you were a realist, you would be more on my side than not.
Aaron, I want what you want. I just also know it's not going to happen.
Okay.
And that's what I've been trying to get you to
I
understand.
agree with you that it's not going to happen.
So if you think it's not going to happen, but you're still going to then not buy into what we have,
Correct.
then you're living in the world of pessimism.
No.
I'm looking at it and going, well, that can't happen, but
I am being realistic about
we
where
still
this
have all
team
these
is.
other things that are good. That's realism. You
Yep,
see both
they have a lot of
sides.
good. They do have a lot of good. I don't want to get that twisted. I do believe this team is good. They have a lot of good players, hitters and pitchers
Mhm.
who have been playing very well. I just know who the Los Angeles Dodgers are.
Yes. A very, very good team formed of
I feel like that's very
$1 billion
realistic.
in contracts
Yep.
and an all-star team that all wear the same jersey.
Exactly.
Yep. That's them.
And the Brewers should do everything they can to counter it in the abilities and the assets that they have to do so. I believe
Yeah.
that the Brewers will do minimal moves at the deadline. That is my realistic belief. My other realistic belief is that if they don't do more than that, they probably won't win the World Series. And that's fine, I guess. That's what people want. We've got texters saying they'd rather have the teams be good year after year and just have some fun in the summer. It's just a core character or belief or something that we have different. I don't care about having fun right now.
Clearly.
It does not matter one bit to me
Yeah.
that they have 63 wins or 65 wins or whatever it is at this point and is one of the best teams in baseball. Okay, yeah, it's cool. It's fun to be able to turn on the TV or my iPad or whatever I'm watching the game on a given night and watch a really fun team. That's fun to do. I like doing it. But what is a lot more fun to me is winning a championship. I would much rather have fun come Halloween in October, this October, when the Brewers are winning the World Series, than winning a series against the Mets in the middle of July.
Yeah, I want that too, Aaron.
Right. And to be able to have that, there needs to be improvements.
I agree with that. I
Okay.
think they're going to make improvements.
But improvements that are strong enough improvements or just improvements?
I don't think they're going to make earth-shattering moves.
And that should be an issue. That should be a problem. You should be upset about that. You should be saying that that's an issue. You shouldn't be okay with that. Listeners, fans should not be okay with moves that aren't good enough. That's all I'm trying to say. You should want your team to, when they have a chance to win a World Series or to win a NBA Finals or to win a Super Bowl, you should want your team to do what's in their power to make that happen. We've gone 15 years without the Packers winning a Super Bowl. And I bet at this trade deadline, we're going to have people that are saying, yeah, but you'd probably have to give up, fill in the blank, and it probably shouldn't be. It should probably be like, yeah, that's worth trying to break a 15-year drought for the team that lives in Titletown.
Sure.
Okay. So it's been a long time for the Brewers as well. I think at some point, fans should be saying, enough is enough. Let's win a World Series. The Bucks did it. The Bucks went out. They went all in. They went as all in as possible over the last 6 years. They won a title. Now,
true,
they're going to have a little bit of some despair over the next couple of years, most likely. But to me, it was worth it. And I'll deal with trading Giannis right now and living with a team of players I don't necessarily believe in long term. But that's the price of doing business. And that's a good price for me. I got to see my favorite NBA team win a championship at a time that I can vividly remember it.
Yes. Listen, Aaron, and I promise you, everyone listening, we're going to move on from this. But kind of this last thoughts, all right? I want the Brewers to win a World Series more than I want anything else in sports. I know that a ton of sports fans throughout the state of Wisconsin want the same thing. That's the number one bucket list item, and it has been for a while, all right, is for the Brewers to finally get a ring. Heck, there are some fans that are even saying, I don't even care if they win it. I just want to get back to one. I've never even seen a World Series in my lifetime because I wasn't here in 82. I've seen them get close. I've seen them get to game 7s of NLCSs, but I've never been able to hold a World Series ticket in my hand. I would settle for that, right? That is the mindset of a lot of Wisconsin sports fans, including myself. However, if a team is tied for first and they look at the pieces that they have and they're in the situation they are, being the smallest market team in a sport that doesn't have a salary cap, that doesn't have all these things that we've been complaining about as Brewers fans for God knows how long, for them to completely say, we're going to take a shot in 1 year and trade away the farm for two pieces, one of being a rental, one being a semi-rental, I just don't see it happening. So that's why I'm sitting here going, I can either be upset about that and grumpy about it every day for the rest of the season, which there's still a lot of baseball to enjoy, or I can wait, I can see what they're going to do, and then make that idea, that feeling, that decision of how I'm judging Matt Arnold and Mark Antanasio and the Milwaukee Brewers. I think in the meantime, though, I'd like to focus on the positives that have been popping up in areas that weren't there earlier in the season. Okay? Christian Yelich had a great game last night. Joey Ortiz had a fantastic game yesterday. Not last night. It was a day game. I would love to talk about that. I'd love to talk about what this team looks like if Christian Yelich can somehow turn things around a little bit. If Joey Ortiz continues this, whatever is happening, for the next couple of months, I want to talk about what this team can be in that regard. Because if that happens, now I'm not even looking at a three-headed monster. That's been my thing, Aaron, for too long this season. I've been going, okay, the Brewers are doing good, but they need starting pitching. They need help in the bullpen. They need help in the lineup. Okay, which of the three-headed monsters, which head are we feeding today? Which one am I saying? Okay, well, they lost because they only had 3 hits. Now they need a bat. Okay, now they scored 5 runs, but Ashby and McGill blew it. They need bullpen help. Okay, now we lost Brandon Woodruff. They need a starter. Going at that, if I can eliminate one of those heads, that's great. That's progress. I want to focus on the fact that Joey Ortiz and Christian Yelich playing better makes me sit here going, okay, we already had a lot of guys trying to find room of where we were going to play him and how we were going to play him. If Christian Yelich is an everyday DH because he's playing well, and Joey Ortiz is going to third and continuing to play well and hit well, this team is a completely different team, Aaron. A completely different team. Now maybe I'm just focusing on the bullpen. That to me is a huge step forward. Can we focus on that? Is that okay? Can we do that? Oh,
yeah.
Will you let that happen?
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
It's just I'm not sure I want to trust it.
Okay. Well, let's see if Mitch Thunder Nellis is someone who can trust that. Mitch, can you hear us? Thunder, you there?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Mitch. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Computer issues.
Oh, always.
Unbelievable.
Okay. So Aaron here is having a bad day.
Not a bad day.
He's having an awful day. He didn't sleep well last night. I said the Brewers won, the Cubs lost, and it's not raining. It's a great day. Today's a great day. Aaron is upset because even though all those things happened, he's still here saying the Brewers aren't going to go get 2 of the 3 guys between Miller, Ryan, and Skubal, and that we as fans should be upset about that because it means that we're not going to win a World Series. Can you help?
Not totally accurate of what I said, but close.
If that's who he wants, then he's going to have a bad day, and every day is going to be a bad day.
Listen,
Thank you.
But I also said I know it's not going to happen. Like I know it's not going to happen, so it's whatever, I guess. Like, but I believe that they probably need to make 2 major moves to compete with the Dodgers and win a World Series this year. But I know that's not going to happen. So I'm not having a bad day. I'm just putting it out there that we should want that. More people should want that.
I think that's okay to want that. I think the question is like, I mean, there's lots of things I want that I don't get. That
Thank you.
Thank
you.
But wouldn't you? But those things that you want, wouldn't you rather put yourself in a better position to have those things happen? If
Yes.
it's in your ability to do so?
Sure, within reason. Is it
Within
is
reason.
it in the right? Is it in the ability for the Brewers to get through those 3 guys? Sure, they have the ability to do it. Does it reasonably make sense for them to do so? Probably not.
If they can do it without giving up Made, Fisher, Adam Shefsky, I'm good with it.
Okay.
And I think they can.
I don't think they can get 2 of those 3 guys without giving up and keeping all those guys. I just don't. And maybe I'm wrong, but I would guess they'd have to give up literally everyone else. And all of a sudden you go from having the best farm system to the 25th best farm system. Now it might mean you win the World Series, but it might not. Getting 1 of them what might make me feel better than getting 2 of them. Because again, you're not gutting your farm system as much, and you're still making your team better.
Would you be cool with, let's say, Joe Ryan, and then instead of one of the other big ones, add in 2 guys to kind of maybe equal that out? Let's say Isaac Paredes, third baseman from the Astros, and a solid reliever from somewhere else, like an improvement as a reliever somewhere else. Do you think that is much more realistic?
I think that's more realistic. I still don't think it's realistic.
Okay.
I still think it's too many names and too many moves for the Brewers to make. That's not Matt Arnold's MO. So I don't necessarily see that happening.
But they could do it.
But they could do it. It would hurt less. I think Scooble's completely out. I just think the way he's a rental, I think I don't think the Brewers are going to go all in the way they went all in for CC for Scooble. Mason Miller is obviously a very different situation because he's got 3 years left, but I don't think they're getting Mason Miller without giving up Madej. I think that's a non-negotiable for the Padres. So you take those two guys off the table, and Joe Ryan, I really liked. I mean, I know Joe Ryan just got lit up in his last start, but I really like Joe Ryan. I'd love to see what it would take to get him, knowing that the Twins still think they're in a pennant race. That's the problem with Joe Ryan, is that like the Twins are 2 games behind the Red Sox, right? And they're 1.5 games out of their, that AL Central is pitiful. But if the Twins did make Joe Ryan available, that is the guy I would like to see them go get.
Do you think, Thunder, that going and getting Joe Ryan is enough?
Probably not, but maybe, and it's definitely better than what their starting rotation is right now. Just adding a proven arm, knowing that, whether it's Sprout and Drowan or whoever, you could make them like a tandem where they each are expected to pitch 4, and then all of a sudden you got 7 or 8 good innings from the 2 of them if they're both on, or something like, or whatever it ends up looking at like when Harrison comes back. But he definitely makes their pitching staff better. He's a guy who can go deep into games. He's a guy who's pitched in big games before, not big games, but has more major league experience than any starter on their roster, save, I guess, McCullers now, who's not really a starter.
Right.
So yes, I mean, I'd be happy with Joe Ryan, but does it make them win the World Series? Does it make them beat the Dodgers? No. It makes them a little bit better. Yeah. I mean, every move you're looking at between now and the next 8 days or 10 days, whenever that trade deadline is you're trying to get a little bit better. If there's a big splash move and they get a lot better, great. But even if it's Paredes or even if it's somebody else, each move you're looking to get a little bit better.
So talk to me then, Mitch, about what we saw yesterday in the Brewers win. I know that you were watching the game at Explorium Brew Pub down there, and hopefully there were a lot of people that watched the game with you. But it was a good game to watch, especially focusing on 2 guys that we, at the beginning of the season, and I mean into the middle of the season, were very frustrated with, both showing up in Christian Yelich and Joey Ortiz being the stars of yesterday's game. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to talk to Aaron about if those 2 guys can consistently get better, if they can put together, not even being the hero of every game, but if they can consistently get better, that very much changes my outlook on this team.
Do you believe in that though? Like, can you trust that in the playoffs? It is July 23rd. Yesterday was July 22nd. And it's great that they both had multiple hits and both had triple. I mean, listen, triples are exciting, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that that's something we can trust. Like, I don't think it's fool's gold what Yelich and Ortiz did yesterday. I think they are competent major league players, especially Christian Yelich. Like, Christian Yelich knows what he's doing up there. Whether his body can do what his mind is telling him to is a whole different conversation. Sure. I don't necessarily think it's fool's gold, but I also don't know that those are the guys I want to be relying on in late September and into October. I don't know that those are the guys that I feel comfortable saying, well, if you can get a couple hits out of Yelich and a couple of hits out of Ortiz regularly, you're going to be okay. Yeah, that's not an if I feel comfortable with. And I know that Ortiz and Yelich are Murph's guys, and he's going to go with them. And I don't know if they're Matt Arnold guys or not, if Matt, would make any moves, if he's looking at third base even. with Hamilton coming back and with Ortiz, the way he's hitting. But man, I sure would. I have a hard time saying, yeah, if this is Yelich and Ortiz, they're going to be just fine. Man, I can't buy. I'm not buying Yelich and Ortiz right now.
Would you rather on a Be Better Thursday?
I would rather be better, but I
Yes.
already lost that one, so I'm worse.
Would you rather believe that Yelich and Ortiz will continue on this path through the rest of the season and into the postseason, or believe that the Brewers will trade decent parts of the farm system to bring in earth-moving pieces for this Brewers team and this run towards the World Series?
The answer is neither.
Nope. The would you rather is one or the other.
Would I rather?
Which do you believe between the two is more likely to happen?
No, that's not what you asked. You asked would I rather. I would rather Yelich and Ortiz continue to play. Like, I would rather Yelich get hot and Ortiz be fine. Like, I don't think Ortiz is going to be this good for the rest of the season. But if Ortiz can be like manageable, if Ortiz can be major league level offense, just not be embarrassing, and Yelich can get hot, I'd rather that than make a big move for a rental or for somebody who might not fit. I'd rather that. Do I believe in any of that? No. I believe in the Thai chili glazed pineapple shrimp on a bed of rice that I had yesterday at the Exploring Brew Pub. It was delicious.
I mean, that's not going to help the Brewers this season, though.
But it was delicious.
I think we are all much closer to. I think we are all very, very, very close to agreeing on this, and we're just coming at it from different angles in terms of how the approach should be. I think we probably all very much agree on the core principle of the conversation.
I think the one thing we can all agree on is that the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is proudly outfitted by Burghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team and company with custom apparel today at bsg1881.com. And it is a Be Better Thursday. We want your Be Betters on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. Be Better, brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Coming up next here on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time to answer the question, who needs to be better? Is it a team?
I need to be better for our team.
A coach?
I got to be better as a coach.
A player?
I got to be better. We got to be better. Just facts.
Let us know who you think has to be better. Brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Show people your business is better. Get BBB accredited with the Better Business Bureau at bbb.org.
That's right. It's time to answer the question on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. Who needs to be better? Brought to you by the Better Business Bureau of Wisconsin. Hey, I don't know if you guys knew, but 90% of consumers recognize and trust the BBB accreditation seal and logo. If you want to showcase your business as a better business, get BBB accredited. Learn more at bbb.org. Get your Be Betters in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. It's me. It's Aaron Morse. It's Mitch Thunder Nellis with you on a Be Better Thursday. Boys, I'm going to go first here. I just need Chad Patrick to be better when I'm in attendance. It's a very specific be better, but
it's your be better, and you can ask for what you want.
Oh God, this
How has Chad hurt you, Josh? How has Chad hurt you?
Yes, I'll point to where he's hurt me. It's the last two games I've been to, Chad Patrick has come in with men on base and given up multiple runs. Just, it's like if I'm not there or if I'm not paying attention to when he's in, he's fine. But the second that I'm in attendance or paying attention to Chad Patrick, he struggles.
Yep.
Chad, just be better when I'm there. Like, what do I need to just like when I know he's coming in, just like go hide and just go la 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 la? Maybe I'll try that.
So. Yeah,
I'll try that. Chad Patrick, please just be better.
Well, I'm going to piggyback right on yours, and I'm going to go with Brandon Sproat. I need Brandon Sproat not to throw 99 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. Like,
I don't know if he knows how not to.
Right. I mean, and I know the Mets fouled off 963 of those 99 pitches. Sproat needs to figure out an out pitch. He just needs to figure out a pitch, not to strike guys out, but to get guys out. That it's not going to be a foul ball. That guys aren't going to put good wood on it. Sproat, and so hopefully the pitching lab, I'm sure they are, is specifically working on Brandon Sproat getting to that out pitch. Brandon Sproat needs to be better than 99 pitches in 4 2/3.
Brandon Sproat has had 2 starts this year, one against the Reds on June 23rd and one against the Athletics on June 10th, where he's gone six innings and had 80 pitches or less.
Mm-hmm. I want that guy.
Yeah. How do I get more of that?
Yeah.
I mean, he went 5 1/3 against the Reds on June 30th and got the win, but he had 106 pitches in 5 innings of work. That's too many. I agree with you. He's got to be better. All right, Aaron, what do you got?
I'm going to completely switch gears.
Perfect.
This is. Did you guys see the Insta or the Twitter post that the rapper Sexy Red posted?
Oh yeah. Michael Red. Yeah, heard of him.
Oh, I was looking.
No, I have no idea. I have
no idea.
Okay, so this is a rapper. She's
no idea what you're saying.
Her name is Sexy Red, and she posted a picture, and Kevin Durant has his arms wrapped around her. It looks like they're a couple. It kind of
looks like a girl.
It yes.
Or lady.
Yeah. She's a lady. Yes. It kind of looks like they're announcing a pregnancy, but I think it's just them together. I don't know. It looks really weird. And Kevin Durant needs to be better. Dude, like, you don't need to be messing with her. Like,
don't tell that man how to live his life.
Like, love is love, bro. Love is love.
Yeah. He can do so much better than that.
Oh, wow.
He can do so much better. He doesn't need
Sexy Red, who we all learned about 3 seconds ago.
Yeah. Just stay away from all the nonsense. You don't need to do the whole I'm an NBA player. I'm going after
Michael Red's daughter
type thing.
Is Sexy Red Michael's daughter?
It might be. I don't know. I have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah, but just enough with the whole NBA style. Like, I don't know.
I can feel the tens of people running to their phone to find out who Sexy Red is.
I told you I was going in a completely different direction.
You sure did. All right.
You asked for it.
I did. That is somehow on me. All right, I'm going to go next. Pat McAfee needs to be better.
Oh, okay.
So obviously,
is that musician Pat McAfee?
Yes. All right. So it's reading the room. It's reading the room. All right. Obviously, anyone that knows anything about sports has been seeing all of the cuts that have been coming from the 4-letter network across the board, different programs that they have, insiders, anyone else, you name them, that have been there, even some for a very long time that are now out. And then with that, more reports came in of just how much money Pat McAfee was getting paid. Now, my thing is, and Aaron, Mitch, I know for sure, Mitch, you know this, but in this business, a lot of times if you're getting paid that amount of money, it's because you're bringing in that amount of money, right? So if Pat McAfee is getting paid that much money, it probably means that more than just in ratings, but in sponsors, ESPN is making money off of Pat McAfee. They're not choosing to just pay him if they're not making money off of him already. The numbers have to align for him to get that amount of money. They have to be making X plus that amount of money, right? The problem with McAfee isn't what everyone else is saying of they shouldn't be paying him that much. All these other people lost their job because of it. That's not how it works. McAfee's making that amount of money because he's bringing in that amount of money.
Okay.
But then you can't go in that same week and have your response to those accusations be, I'm always hated. Here's a CD coming out of me doing songs with a Chat GPT art, cover.
He is a pretty hated dude.
You can sure he can play the villain. He loves pro wrestling. He knows how to be the heel. He also has a bunch of people that love him. He can be the NWO, and it's a cool guy to hate. I get all of that, but you got to read the room when it comes to people, your former colleagues getting let go. Now's not the time to come out and put out that tweet.
I'm sure
if you feel the need to tweet something in that moment, it should be love to all the guys that I that aren't going to be a part of this. This business is a nasty business, blah, blah, blah. You don't come out and say, hey, everyone, look out for my CD that I'm putting together for my kids, talking about me and my life.
So you're not buying the
better,
TD,
Pat McAfee.
You're not buying the TDOAPF album and hanging it up on your basement wall?
No. I mean, I never was going to, but also it's just the timing. Read the room, bro. Be better. Yeah. Be better with that announcement.
Tough scheduling.
That was rough.
Yeah.
All right, Mitch, go ahead.
All right. I have a few I've been rattling around in my head, but I just went to Twitter and did a little looking up. And are you guys watching this Dame stuff at all? This Dame Giannis stuff at all?
A little bit.
I did see that. I was a little confused by it, but I saw it.
Yeah. So I want Dame to be better about how he's communicating stuff right now. But I want to go in my way back reverse machine, and I want Giannis to be a better teammate. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who to blame or who to be mad at. But I think right now I'm gonna tell Damian Lillard to be better. I get it that Milwaukee didn't work out, and it sure looks like you and Giannis had a crappy relationship. I know you were going through really bad personal stuff while you got traded to Milwaukee, and because of that, it was never really going to work out. But Twitter's not the place, bro. Like Twitter, I don't know. I want Dame Lillard to be a little better.
If he's going to say something, he's got to come out and say it.
Right.
Is that what you're asking for?
Yes. That's
like
what
if
I'm
he's
asking.
gonna,
a little vague posting.
Don't do it half.
Right.
At a half level.
Just say, listen, life sucked. I wasn't as good as I should have been, but Giannis kind of sucked. And he wasn't the leader he needed to be, which we all know about Giannis. Giannis is not that guy.
Yeah. Also, is it bad that when I saw that, I was like, not my problem anymore? Like, I was kind of like, he's in Miami now, and you're in Portland, and I'm still in Milwaukee. So I don't know.
The only thing, it's kind of a Bucks culture problem, but we know we've known that they've had one.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, whatever news comes out is like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Aaron, all right, quickly, you got another one, Aaron?
Yeah, I'll go with the Las Vegas Raiders and Fernando Mendoza. Need to be better. Do you know that he wasn't signed yet?
Oh, I don't think I did know that.
And apparently none of the top 4 quarterbacks that are drafted have not been signed yet. Because reportedly, the 3 guys drafted after him have not signed because they're waiting for Mendoza. I guess the holdup is that Mendoza wants his signing bonus in a lump sum, while the Raiders, who have always done it this way, want to do it in installments. The last first overall pick who hasn't got a lump sum was 2019 Kyler Murray. And apparently Mendoza and his agent are trying to keep that. They do not want to set a new precedent. The Raiders are trying to keep their precedent set where they're doing it in installments.
Woof.
I don't know who needs to be better out of the two. Probably the Raiders just need to give him the lump sum because they drafted the guy for a reason.
Great way to start your relationship.
Yeah, someone needs to be better. It's probably the Raiders, though, because they're the team who drafted the guy and have the onus of doing what first overall pick teams do.
Yikes. Yeah, that's a situation where everyone involved
and
has to
they
be
can't
better.
practice until they sign. So they got a week to do it, less than a week to do it. Yeah.
A little tease here. Florio needs to be better. Pro Football Talk. I don't know.
Saw this.
I don't
Mike
know
Florio?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw.
I used to have him. Homer and I used to have him on our show when he wasn't like big time, when he was just like still trying to
when
make
he was a little guy.
He would come on like whenever we wanted him, and then he stopped returning our calls. It was great.
He had an opinion piece that made its way onto social media yesterday, talking about hypotheticals of the Packers selling to a billionaire and becoming a team that has a billionaire owner, which is something that was discussed in the news months ago when Ed Policy was first announced when he first brought it up of naming rights and all this, and now Florio's bringing it back up. We're actually going to talk to Matt Schneidman at 8 a.m. on the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht just about that topic, thanks to Florio. But come on.
Did you see what he posted 41 minutes ago?
No.
Headline. Is Tom Brady laying the foundation for a presidential run?
Oh boy. Well, I know one person who would vote for him.
Well, we know Tom Brady's laying the foundation for a WWE run.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's doing it.
I mean, he's following in Trump's footsteps. You go WWE and then you go president.
By the way, Tom Brady, Stephen A. Smith presidential race.
You got to get get stone cold stunned if you want to be president. It's a new rule.
That's right. Boston Red Sox do better. They lost last night. I mean, come on. You can't.
Okay, but they hit 15 in a row.
Is Andrew Monasterio, Anthony Siegler, and Caleb Durbin the first teammates to ever win 14 plus games in back-to-back seasons in a career?
Ooh, that's a great question. Siegler wasn't on the team the whole time.
Okay,
so I don't know. I don't know if Siegler.
You don't know if you count it. Okay, let's take them out. Monasterio and Durbin, are they the first pair of teammates to win 14 plus in back-to-back years?
That's a great.
I don't know how to look it up though. So.
By the way, Durbin's even better than Joey, and Joey's the best third baseman in baseball. Like the two of them. Once Joey got hot, Caleb was like, "Hold my beer," and he got just as hot. It was great.
All right, Mitch, thanks for joining us for a little Be Better Thursday. We appreciate it. We're going to read some of your Be Betters when we get back on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Yeah, we're here. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. Hey, if you guys want to score free Wendy's Frosty Classics this summer, well, when the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, proud high A affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, record 10 strikeouts in a game, you can go to any Wisconsin Wendy's and get a free small Frosty Classic. Follow the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers on Twitter or Instagram as they post after every game with 10 strikeouts. This offer is good for 24 hours following the game. I'm Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morris alongside Mitch Dunner-Nellis with us for one more. Looking here, Scotty Tiffany on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, says, we were at a sports bar in Beloit over the weekend, and they had a robot that would bring food out to tables, but the waitress would follow the robot and serve the food. Be better, futuristic sports bar. Pick a lane. I love that. Be better. That's exactly what we're looking for. Pick a lane. Have you been to one of these where they bring the food comes out via robot?
There's I don't know if they still do it, but there's the breakfast place at Mayfair Collection.
Has a robot?
Has a robot. Something nest, something egg, something nest egg. I don't know.
Oh, nest egg, yeah.
No, it's definitely not nest egg.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
And I don't even know if they're still open or not, but they had a robot there for a while. Oh, Scotty Tiffany, what were you doing in Beloit over the weekend? Oh, watching Mitch Nellis play shortstop. Cool.
How'd you do, by the way?
I mean, I have a great glove.
How were you at the plate?
I mean, I got on base all 3 times.
Did you need to be better?
No. I mean, I would argue I was probably 2 for 3. I got on base all 3 times. My one that I got on, it was an error. I hit one to the wall and right that a guy dropped. That I think would have hit the wall had he not dropped it, but he was playing really deep on me. I don't know why. I don't have any power, but I got on base.
The 414 says, be better local news outlets and report that 41 South is completely closed because of a crash.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
I think that's probably what got me on my way into work then going north. I think it was closed north too.
Interesting. All right. Well,
unless it's 2 different accidents.
Be careful out there, folks.
Yeah.
Stephen Richfield says, Josh, Aaron needs to be better. A lot of people feel that way this morning.
That's fine.
Steve says he is breaking your rule by telling us how to fan. Here's the thing. While that's the case, I also can't tell him to stop because then I would be telling him how to fan. So, it's a double-edged sword. I am excited, though, to have Matt Schneidman joining us on the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht, because it's also crazy that we are a week away from training camp. I mean,
some teams came in this week, right? Or coming in like today, or
I think so.
I'm a little jealous of those teams. Like I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Are you ready?
I think I am. I feel like this has been the longest offseason in the Packers history. Like I've been doing this for 20 years, and I don't remember a time where there's been this much of a Packers desert of news.
I think it's been an NFL desert of news.
There has not been a lot, which is why I think I'm not ready. I'm like, okay, like I want a little sizzle to get me into training camp.
I don't want Josh Jacobs sizzle.
Well, that's true. Thank you for specifying.
I think, but I think that needs to be a question for Schneidman. Like, is it just business as usual? Is anything going on with the case? Like, is the DA doing anything? Is the case are they still investigating? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, well, we're going to ask him about that. We're going to ask him about the recent extensions within the Packers organization. And yet there being one guy who is still out there that is kind of the story that's still existing of Tucker Kraft and what they're going to end up doing with Tucker Kraft. I think we all believe that they will find a way to get a deal done, but it's just that win and for how much and how important of a piece is he to the team. So very excited to have Matt Schneidman from The Athletic and the Tundra podcast with this guy named John Kuhn.
Never heard of it. Are they on video?
Us.
I wouldn't know.
I don't know either.
Is Schneidman allowed to be on video, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
He's going to be. I sent him the StreamYard link, so
I'm throwing shade at everybody this morning.
You are. You also. How'd you sleep? Not great. Hopefully, Matt Schneidman slept great. That's what I'm hoping for. Again, the Brewers won. The Cubs lost. It's not raining. It's a good day in the good land. Thank you, Mitch, for joining us. We will hear you on the Mason Crosby Show
with
Mitch Dunner-Nellis from noon to 2 today We appreciate it. All right, and we appreciate all of you joining us as well here for the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call. Matt Nyman joining the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht. When we come back on the other side, this has been the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
We're putting the band back together.
Forget it. No way.
We're on a mission from God.
I'm back, baby.
I want you to put the word out there that we back up. Understand me? We back up.
They say everyone deserves a second chance. Apparently, so do radio shows.
We are back, baby.
After years apart, countless bad sports takes from everyone else, and more than a few people saying, you know who should do a show together again?
We're back.
Somebody actually made it happen.
We are back. We are back.
Steve Zabin and Josh Albrecht, back together again.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
A man who loves digital assets, hates replay, and always leaves early. Milwaukee's adopted hometown son, Steve Zabin.
I can't believe what we're seeing. What just happened?
It's the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Well, that's kind of true. It's the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht, but without Steve Zabin, he's golfing, which is the least shocking news ever. In Ireland, though, that's interesting. That's different, right? He's just not out playing golf. He'll be back next week. It's still a great day in the good land. The Brewers won. The Cubs lost. It's not raining. Those three things can happen. You're going to have a good day. It's also a good day because on the show and joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all, from The Athletic and the Tundra podcast with John Kuhn from 9 to noon. Our friend Matt Schneidman joins the show. Matt, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we are doing great today, bud. We're so good. Everyone's happy. Aaron's upset. And I don't know why. It's just he's upset because the Brewers haven't made all the moves to win a World Series yet. And I'm going, they won yesterday, and it's a nice day out. Can we just enjoy today? I don't know. We're working through that.
The trade deadline is still what? When's
the trade deadline?
Away. Over a week away? Still plenty of time for moves.
Right. See, Aaron, there's still time. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is that also a week away is training camp. Packers training camp is going to be here before you know it. And I am going to, and we are going to talk to you about a lot of things with the Packers and what we're to expect from training camp and this season, some of the moves that were already made. But first, I talked to you about this when we were texting yesterday. Mike Florio, who is beloved across the state of Wisconsin. So many people love the man. Had an opinion piece that he did. Apparently they do this like during breaks where they do this kind of ask me anything. And someone had reached out to him about the Packers, and he goes into this whole opinion piece on how the Packers could now, Ed Policy could be that guy that would, knowing that when he hits a certain age, he's going to be kicked out anyway, could be the guy to sell the team and change the whole structure of the Green Bay Packers and have the Packers be owned by a billionaire owner so that they can compete with these other organizations, these other franchises. When we talked about it, Matt, you said this is old news. We talked with Ed Policy about this, which is exactly why I wanted to talk to you about it. Is this going to continue to be a topic of conversation when football isn't being played?
Well, I want to be clear with this. I didn't watch the video. The storyline of are the Packers going to be sold to a billionaire owner? That's a non-story. That's not going to happen. What the story was how can the Packers kind of keep up in these financial times? And it all stems from a interview Ed Policy did with Sports Business Journal back in March, I think. So when you sent me that, I was like, Mike is entitled to whatever opinion he wants to have. The idea that Ed Policy could sell the team or the Packers would be sold to a billionaire owner, that's not happening. That's not a possibility. What is a possibility in order to generate revenue and keep up with these other teams who do have these deep-pocketed owners and can do the private equity thing is, these concerts that the Packers have at Lambeau, is selling naming rights to things. And the most controversial part of this conversation that happened a couple months ago was, would the Packers ever sell the naming rights to Lambeau Field? Like the Dodgers just did with their stadium. The Yankees haven't done it. Wrigley obviously hasn't done it. There are some iconic stadiums that aren't meant to be, Quick Trip Stadium at Lambeau Field or something like that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That would be the biggest moneymaker for this team. But Ed Policy said that hopefully in his lifetime that doesn't happen.
But
they can sell naming rights to the practice facility. They can sell naming rights to, different gates at the stadium. There are different ways to generate revenue for the team that aren't sacrificing the, innocence of the Lambeau Field name, but selling the team itself and switching from the publicly owned model, that wasn't even part of the conversation.
But that was the Florio opinion piece. His whole getting there was saying that eventually, even if they did start selling naming rights things, that eventually this model doesn't work and that it would get to that point to keep up. And that had me just saying, how many more times and where did this come from, of this idea that the Packers aren't able to stay competitive with other organizations and needing to find more ways to make money and do these things to stay relevant. I feel like in the last, essentially since Ed Policy got there, this became news, and now it's still news. And I'm wondering, at what point does this go away? Is this really a thing that we're going to be talking about for years and years to come, of how, well, the Packers need more money? Well, now the Packers still need more money. Is this a thing?
Not to me. Maybe some people sporadically will bring it up, like Mike did here, but it's only a conversation if you make it a conversation, right?
Sure, but it's not a concern, is your point.
No.
Like we're bringing up, it's not something that is a problem that will continue to exist until it's dealt with. It's not one of those type of problems.
No, I don't think it's a problem rooted in reality right now. No.
Great. Okay. Then we can all go back to not watching the 9.5 minute video from Mike Florio. Okay, let's go and talk then about the contracts that have been given out to Packers players. Obviously, Devontae Wyatt was the most recent one, 3 years, $57 million to Devontae Wyatt. How did you feel about that number for Wyatt and him being extended?
Yeah, as with all these deals, you have to wait to see what the real numbers are, because what Christian Watson's contract was first reported as was like $20 million off of what it actually was. But on the surface, if these numbers are real, the 3 years, $57 million, that $19 million average annual salary makes Devontae Wyatt the 18th highest paid interior defensive lineman in the league, which seems like a fair price. I mean, he's not the best, he's not the worst, but he's the Packers' best, and you have to extend your best. So I think they did well with this one. He was 32nd last year in pressure rate among all defensive linemen, not just interior guys. Micah Parsons loves the guy, and after that Dallas game where the Packers tied 40-40, Micah was asked what happened to the run defense in the second half, and he said, well, Devontae Wyatt got hurt in the second quarter. So his production hasn't always, opened eyes, but he's the best the Packers have there. And I think when healthy, he has showed, especially in recent years, that he's worthy of this extension. As we know, the Packers kind of slow burn these defensive linemen, whether it's Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt. Like, these first rounders don't come in and have an immediate impact, but we've started to see the impact that Devontae Wyatt can have. And I expect him to be on the field next Wednesday when we see our first practice. The injuries that he suffered last year on Thanksgiving were described by him as ones that take 3 to 5 months to recover from. So I anticipate seeing him on the field come next Wednesday.
And is to Tucker Kraft and his extension. I think a lot of people have been operating, fans, maybe even people covering the team, maybe players on the team have been acting like this is a foregone conclusion. He's going to sign an extension. They're going to get it done, but they haven't yet. And there is a case to be made that it might not get done if Tucker Kraft has a number much higher than the Packers are willing to go at this point. How long do you expect this conversation to be ongoing between the two sides? And is this more in doubt than maybe we've been operating all offseason?
No, this is going to happen. And I think I can say that with pretty steadfast confidence. It's just a matter of time. Now, when that is, I'm not sure. I don't know if Tucker's one of those guys like Devontae Adams was in 2021, where it's once the season hits, I'm not negotiating. But this is a guy who I would not be surprised if he resets the market at tight end. The highest paid tight end right now is George Kittle at $19.1 million a year. I would not be surprised to see Tucker Kraft get more than that. When he went down last year in week 9, he was top 3 in receiving yards, touchdown catches, and yards after catch per reception among tight ends. Add in what he does blocking, what he does for that locker room. He was the youngest elected captain by his teammates last year. And quite frankly, in the now 7-8 years that I've been covering the Packers, the youngest captain they've had. I need to check my notes on that, but he's going to be worthy of whatever extension he gets. I think he is clearly a top 5 tight end in the league, probably better. But it's just a matter of, will the Packers be willing to pay him that money coming off a major injury? And I would say yes to that, because there's a precedent for it. They made Jair Alexander the highest paid corner in NFL history coming off that shoulder injury that sidelined him 13 games. In 2021, yes, he did play in that playoff game against the 49ers, but he was still coming off a major injury. And will Tucker and the Packers be able to reach that resolution before he steps on the field in training camp? And would Tucker be willing to negotiate even after he steps on the field? My 2 cents, and obviously I'm not Tucker Kraft and there's a reason for that, but I would want that deal before I come back and risk re-injury from a major knee injury. And if you're the Packers, maybe you want to see him play well before you give him all that money. So both sides are justified in those opinions. But if I had to guess, I would say this is something that gets done before training camp.
So you think he's going to reset the market higher than George Kittle, who a lot of people think is the best tight end in football, and Tucker Kraft hasn't had the career, obviously, to this point that Kittle has in each year of production. Is this mostly just this is how NFL contracts work, and the next guy is going to reset the market if he's even close, even maybe if Tucker isn't better than George Kittle or hasn't been, as deserving maybe of that money to this point? It's just how it goes.
Right. Yeah. NFL contracts in these extensions, as you guys know, and as people listening know, are far more about projection of what's to come and market value than what you've done. Jordan Love had one half good season starting under his belt when he was paid $55 million a year, which at the time tied for the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. That was because of what the Packers projected him to do beyond that contract and because of what the open market dictated. Same thing with Tucker Kraft. He's had half of a season worthy of being the highest paid tight end in the league. That's by that metric, he shouldn't be, but it's about what you project him to do in the future and the projection that in 3-4 years down the road, this will be a bargain. Just like with Jordan Love, you look now and he's still up there among the highest paid in the league, but you think, okay, there are guys who are higher paid than him, and Jordan Love is arguably a top 5, 6, 7 quarterback in the league. I'm fine with that price. Same thing could happen with Tucker Kraft in a couple of years. That's just how these things work.
We're talking to Matt Schneidman of The Athletic and the Tundra podcast here on the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht. Matt, it's been, for the most part, a pretty dry offseason for the Packers as far as news is concerned. Beyond, obviously, the Josh Jacobs news was the biggest thing that happened during the offseason. And then now as we get into training camp, we still haven't really heard any update on anything. Have you heard anything since the last time that news kind of broke? And how do you see that playing out as training camp starts?
About Josh Jacobs specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, to my knowledge, the case is still open. I imagine I was actually going to send the DA's office an email here at the end of this week because I have a story running on Monday with the 20 most important questions for the Packers this season entering training camp. And one of them is what's going to be the Josh Jacobs resolution. And I know one of the local TV stations here, I believe Channel 5, put out an update a couple weeks ago saying the investigation was still open. I imagine that if it was closed with a resolution one way or the other, that the Brown County DA's office would announce that. So I'm assuming it's still an open investigation. And as we've seen even with an open investigation, Josh Jacobs would practice with the Packers. I'm sure everyone would like to have a resolution, but I can't sit here and say with 100% certainty that Josh Jacobs will be on the team come the regular season, because I'm just speaking hypothetically. What if criminal charges are brought and then the Packers do their own looking into it after that and decide to cut ties with him? I'm sure the Packers have already looked into it themselves with however they investigate these things. But as far as we know, from a legal criminal perspective, this is still an open investigation. So there isn't really much to say concretely about how the Packers will move forward or Josh Jacobs' status on the team beyond he'll play while it's under investigation. I mean, it's a tricky thing because we, as people who cover the Packers, haven't really had to deal with this in recent years. Packers don't really get into this kind of stuff. So it's new for everyone, but I think all we can say right now is that it's still open and we don't really know how it's going to resolve itself yet.
So Josh Jacobs was not available for the media at any point through any of the mini camps or anything else. Do you expect that to be just the way it continues through training camp, through the season? I feel like at some point, that needs to change, no?
Well, yeah, once the case is resolved, he's not going to talk when the case is still open. Once the DA's office comes out and says, we're bringing criminal charges or we're not bringing criminal charges. Well, if they are bringing criminal charges, it's a whole nother thing. He may not be in the locker room or on the team to comment. But if they come out and say we're not bringing criminal charges, then Josh will talk. And I'm sure he'll have some sort of statement given that is coached up by his lawyer.
Sure. But I'm saying, like, let's say that this gets to week 1 and, Josh has a fantastic game. He goes off. He's a star of the game. And, you want to get media getting some quote from Josh Jacobs. Is the team going to have him available in any way, shape, or form to the media if they don't get a word from the DA's office?
I think that's different. I was thinking just training camp preseason wise. If it gets into the regular season and he plays, I could see a scenario. I'm not in Jason Waller's shoes or the PR staff shoes. I could see a scenario where they make him available and just have him, before any questions are taken, say, I'd like to keep it to football questions. I understand that there are questions about my legal case, but since it's still an open investigation, I'd like to respectfully keep it on football until I can comment on that. That's me putting my PR hat on. But I would be surprised if it carries on that long. But then again, it's carried on this long, so who knows?
Hey, Matt, if we're looking at training camp coming up, and if you had to pick one thing that you're just curious about, like watching this team during practice, something you were curious to see what goes on in practice. I know we don't get to see a ton or can learn a ton from what they're doing here, but if you had to pick one thing that you're like, I wonder what that might look like, what could that be?
Will and how soon will Brandon Cisse earn a starting spot, I think is one thing. Now, I'm not saying he will this year. Jair Alexander didn't start right away. Eric Stokes didn't start right away. It might take an injury. And if it's a lack of performance from Carrington Valentine, say, they're not, I don't think, going to bench him after his first mistake. But I am interested to see whether it's training camp, first half of the season, or even his second season in the league. The Packers didn't draft Brandon Cisse to be a depth piece for 3 years or 4 years. They drafted him to be probably, I'm assuming, their next number 1 cornerback. Now, when is that going to happen? I know people don't like Keyshawn Nixon. He's still the team's number 1 cornerback at this juncture. But I can't sit here and honestly say, despite what Brian Gutekunst said, that I was thoroughly impressed with the cornerback play the second half of the season specifically. So I'm going to be looking at Brandon Cisse, and could the seat get hot for especially Carrington Valentine a little bit here in training camp? And would the Packers be willing to pull the trigger and give Cisse some more playing time, even if it's just in like a rotation sort of thing that we've seen at other positions in past years? In training camp, early in the season, when is it going to be? So Cisse's not going to sit on the bench for long here in Green Bay, but I also don't think the Packers are like rushing to get him on the field.
Matt, thanks again so much for joining us today. Make sure to read all of Matt Schneidman's notes and news at The Athletic. And, of course, listen to him and John Kuhn on the Tundra podcast. We appreciate you stopping by, bud. We will see you soon at training camp.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.
Matt Schneidman of The Athletic joining us. He was joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Yeah, a lot of interesting tidbits and things to focus on going into training camp,
which is weird because it's been quiet. Like we've been talking about.
It's been quiet. It'll all pick up.
Yeah.
Once the practices start, and then we see the tweets coming from every single outlet of Jordan Love just had a long deep pass, and they're trying to describe a play on Twitter. It's one of my favorite things about training camp. Training camp will be here before you know it. In the meantime, Brewers baseball has been exciting to watch, regardless of how you think the team is set up for October. We will get to that and more of your thoughts on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. When we come back to the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Welcome back to the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht. Zabe out a few more days playing golf in Ireland. He'll be back on Monday. Josh Albrecht here with Aaron Morse. Continuing the fun, thanks again to Matt Schneidman of The Athletic, who just got done talking with us. And as I've been saying all day today, Aaron, it's a good day. It's a great day any day that the Brewers win, the Cubs lose, and it's not raining. If you have those three things, you should be having a good day, especially the way that the Brewers won that game yesterday, I think was a lot of fun. Now, I will say, and we talked about this when we were prepping last night, Joey Ortiz has been doing so much better, right? I think we can all agree, we've been very pleased with the way that Joey Ortiz has been playing and doing well at third base. It does not seem like he's lost a step defensively, being at third. He had 2 web gems in yesterday's game. But the triple he had should have been caught. Should have been caught.
Yes.
And so between the 2 triples, I give Yelich's triple the nod because, if you take the triple from Ortiz off the board, it's a completely different ball game, right? Like that. And I don't think they gave the outfielder for the Mets an error on that.
It's triple. Yep. 2 RBI triple.
But either way, I'm going to take it. I'm going to be happy about it. And now the Brewers do not play tonight. Today is one of their remaining 6 off days before the end of the season. Meaning after tonight, there are only 5 more times that the Brewers will not be playing baseball until the end of the season. That's kind of wild, is it not? Doesn't that seem like a lot? A lot of baseball?
Yeah, 8 weeks. You get I feel like that's standard, no? I think we're maybe used to, they had a lot of off days at the beginning of the season.
I think about a lot of times, usually there's a Monday or a Thursday, usually it's a Thursday, that they would have off before a weekend series, right?
Yeah.
If there's 8 weeks left, that means that at least 2 of the weeks they're playing on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be, again, I think really tying into this idea that the Brewers through these next couple of months are going to be trying to just coast a little bit, continue to find ways to win, but giving the guys that they know they're going to need in October some time off, which is fantastic if you can give more opportunities to Yelich and have him get better. If that's what it takes to have him get better. I had said to you, I think, hey, try to give him some time off. Maybe less appearances at the plate might help. Well, then he got the nod yesterday and made the most of it. So who knows? They know, we don't know. And we'll never know, right? That being said, a win is always a good thing. This is also a stretch of games going till, I think, the Padres, if I'm looking at their schedule, where things change. Yeah, the Padres, August 10th, where it should be teams that on paper are beatable, right? They have the Rockies coming to town, then they go to the Giants, then to the Angels, then the Pirates come in, and then they have the Twins before they face the Padres. Now, the Twins obviously also in a little bit of a race for a wild card, but they're winning series that they should be winning.
Yeah, Rockies, Angels, and Giants are the bottom 3 teams in the entire MLB.
That's an opportunity. So looking at that, how many games is that? That's 3, 6, 9 games. How many of those games do they need to win for you to be satisfied in that?
6.
6 and 3.
I would be satisfied with 6 and 3.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, just because I don't
You're
ever
winning all 3 of those series.
Yeah, I don't ever
anybody,
expect a sweep.
Right.
Yeah, even for the worst teams, I expect them to win each of those series, though.
Right. Now, are you also someone that's going to look at those, and if they go 6 and 3 in those, go, yeah, but that's what they were supposed to do, so I'm not reading into those wins saying that this team is any better, because those aren't the type of teams that they'd be playing in October anyway?
Maybe a little bit. It certainly helps that they're not playing the Dodgers, Braves, and Cubs, let's say,
Sure.
these next three, certainly helps. It would be a much better sign if they went 6-3 against those teams. But I mean, these three teams coming up all have players that are fighting for contracts next season, right? It's not like they're oh, we're really bad.
Right.
Oh, shucks.
Right.
You know, like,
well,
so you still have to go out and beat those teams, and winning 2 out of 3 every single series is hard to do.
And
for
yet
any team.
And yet the Brewers have consistently done it.
Yep.
All season long, which has been, it's made it a fun summer, right? It made it a fun summer last year too. Man, now I'm looking at this 4-game series against the Dodgers, August 13th through the 16th. And I'm going, I wonder how this Brewers team is going to play that. When the Brewers lost the series to the Dodgers earlier in the year, I went, that's fine, because we swept them and it didn't mean squat last season. But playing them in August, late August, right? I guess technically middle August. But looking at that, I wonder how the Brewers are going to approach that. If I would almost say I want this time for it to be different than when the Dodgers came to AmFam earlier in the season.
Now, if you split that series, the Dodgers will win the season series, which means if you tie them in record, they would have the home field if it came down to that.
Are you thinking about that? Are you worried about that at this point? The home field advantage? That's
I wouldn't say worried, but I am certainly noticing, or it's not like I haven't thought about it. I think that eventually it will become like all right, if one game decides home field or not, it will be a little like, ooh, wish that one game would have gone our way instead.
Sure. I mean, they're obviously, we talked about, for top of the MLB, right? They're the top 2 teams. So they would both get they would get a bye, and home field advantage until the NLCS. I still don't know that's my concern. It didn't matter. It didn't matter at all last year.
But what if it ends up mattering?
Sure.
What if it does go to Game 7 and it's in Los Angeles instead of Milwaukee? Won't you be like, man, I wish we would have won one more of those games in the regular season?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm going, all right, so which strategy is more important? Pushing it to make sure that you have that home field advantage should you get to the NLCS, or making sure that your guys are rested and there's no fatigue and Miz is ready to light them up when you need him most, and everything else, kind of essentially doing what the Dodgers did last year. Yeah, remember, the Dodgers last year were a wild card team that then just never lost.
I guess when you bring that up, like, should the Brewers push for it? My first thought is like, yeah, it's unfortunate that we're having this conversation. Dodgers were not a wild card team. I just checked. They won their division.
Oh, they did. But they didn't get the bye.
They didn't get the bye.
Yeah, they played in the wild card round.
Yes, right. Yep. My thought when you first said it is, it's really unfortunate we have to have this conversation, because the Dodgers are absolutely not having this conversation because they don't have to push it in order to have the number 1 seed. Like, I think the Brewers would have to push it a little bit, where I think the Dodgers are like, we can just do whatever, and we're there. So it's a little tougher on the Brewers because they're going to have to maybe expend a little more energy, or a little more, extend their pitchers a little more if they do want the 1 seed, where the Dodgers can kind of just willy-nilly their way into that conversation the rest of the year.
Well, it is a difference too in the stretches of baseball, right? We talk about coasting. Yeah, they could coast a little bit more through the next 9 games, but then they're going to have the Padres, Dodgers, Mariners, and Braves. That's going to be essentially the opposite of what they're going through the next 9 games. That's going to be a very difficult swing.
I do think the nice thing is you get Seattle at home. Playing a little break. Playing on the road in Seattle is tough, I think, but you do have to go to San Diego and Los Angeles.
I mean, you have Atlanta at home too.
Yeah. I just think Seattle's a really tough place to play. Hitters really struggle there. Mariners are used to playing. I think the Mariners have a really sneaky good home field advantage. I think that helps. But even after the Braves, if we're looking at the schedule, you get New York again, the Mets. Okay, you should win that series. But Texas is in first place in their division, even if it's not a great division. The Cubs are there as well. The Reds, whatever. But then you get the Cubs again. So even an extended period of time is still a little bit of a really tough month coming up here between now or after these 3 series. So August 10th to September 9th, basically 1 month is going to be really tough.
Just keep finding ways to win. Keep finding ways to win series however you can. And if there's a day when Christian Yelich is a hero and another day when it's Joey Ortiz and another day when it's Cooper Pratt, now is the time for that to be the case. It doesn't need to be right now to where everyone is firing on all cylinders. It's about, I think, more than any other sport, being the hottest team at the right time is baseball. And so if they're finding ways to coast and continue to win series and get to October, or like last year, I think that was one of the big things, is that they were in a slump in the last 2 weeks of September. I want them to be the hottest team going into October, not the slumping team with a great record in the end of September going into October. That would be great. For now, we will continue to be happy about the fact that the Brewers won, the Cubs lost, and it's not raining outside. A crazy coincidence happening in Minnesota. We were talking about what the Twins are going to do as they still find themselves looking for a wild card spot. But now they didn't check their calendars, and a lot of them are busy on November 14th. We will tell you what's going on and how crazy this story is when we come back on the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht, here live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is proudly outfitted by Burghardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BSG1881.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse alongside. Zabe back with me on Monday playing some golf in Ireland. We knew this trip was happening. He'll be back. We'll have some fun. They're going to have fun on November 14th in the Twins organization. Apparently, Twins teammates Brooks Lee, Luke Keeschall, Ryan Kreidler, and Cole Sands are all getting married on November 14th. All 4 players. I'm assuming they didn't do any of this planning. I'm going to assume that all of this situation was their fiancés. However, if you've ever paid attention to sports, you know about the WAGs, the wives and girlfriends. They sit together at games. They hang out. You see them like leaving, like they're all in the, not in the locker room, but like outside in the tunnels of the stadiums together. They get brought in together. There's no way that all 4 of these fiancés made these plans without talking to each other at any point, especially because what do you do with the guest list? Now, how do you decide? Like, clearly, if you're going, oh, hey, by the way, we're getting married on November 14th. If we're going to have, the invite everyone on the team, right? Almost as if it's like a birthday party. You got to invite everyone. If we're going to invite everyone, we got to send them out. There's no way that they all didn't know about November 14th.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a Twins fan.
Okay.
And I texted him. I said, need your thoughts. And he said, too many coworkers feel the need to invite them to your wedding. None of their pro careers overlap at any point where they could have been friends pre-MLB roster.
So this is just, and now this is another great question, right? At professional athletes getting married, how big is the wedding? Do you feel obligated to invite, coaches, players that are on your current roster? Can it just be friends? Can it be,
I don't know. It's tough, right? Like, okay, you're an MLB roster. You spend 9 months together every year. It's like, okay, I'm going to invite these 15, but not you 15. It's, I don't know. Just someone feels slighted then. And
right.
Chemistry on a baseball field is more important than chemistry at the IRS,
True. Also, I just feel like a lot of times you can use the excuse, like if you were to get married now, right? You're a young lad, still not wearing a ring. If you were like, hey, I'm getting married, I wouldn't expect you to have to invite everyone at the station, but you could do that because you could say, listen, I work in radio. Weddings are expensive. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but like it's, the per plate cost. All right. Like I'd have to work a lot of overtime just for you guys to be able to come to my wedding. I don't know that these guys have that excuse. You're professional baseball players.
But I think my friend made a good point about none of their careers overlap pre-MLB roster. Okay. Maybe they don't have the same friends then, or they don't have the same invite interests for each of the 4 weddings for players or coaches in the organization. Maybe. But also 2 of them could have the same, and 2 of them could want the same player to be their best man or as a groomsman.
Right.
Not all 4 of them are going to have the same.
Sure, of course.
The same list or the same groomsman or, best man, but 2 of them might, which could be very interesting.
I also want to know what's happening on November 21st, or, I guess, is November 7th still World Series?
It's probably just after. I think the World Series ends like the first day of November, maybe.
Okay, if that's the case, then what's happening on November 7th that makes it so different?
Maybe too close to the World Series, like if they got there.
Yeah,
they'd have like a parade on like the 4th or something, and then quick turnaround,
turnaround for their wedding.
If it's a destination wedding, and
it's crazy. First of all, the odds of the Twins making it at all to the World Series. Not fantastic.
And the 21st or 28th, is that too close to Thanksgiving, which I believe is the 26th?
Oh, sure. Maybe. It's just insane to me that all four of them picked the 14th. All four of them.
Maybe wedding venue wasn't available on the 7th or 21st.
Also, is it like a crazy thing to get married during the season you play in? Like, is that a...
Well, they can't. They don't have Saturdays ever off, or Fridays ever off, or Sundays ever off.
True. If you're doing a weekend.
You'd have to have a Monday or Thursday wedding on a day off, and I'm not sure they want to do that.
Why didn't they do it
when
during
you're
All-Star
playing.
break? Were any of these four guys in the All-Star game?
The Brewers bullpen catcher got married during the All-Star break.
See?
He got married on a Monday or Wednesday, maybe, during the All-Star break. So he did, but it had to be during the All-Star break. And what happens if you're named an All-Star? You're going to say no because you're getting married. And
I'm just saying, I think it's absolutely insane that four players on the same team. Now I want to know what other athletes across other teams. How many Major League Baseball weddings will be taking place on November 14th?
I want to know how many of those weddings, where they're located. And can you get to multiple in the same day if you were one of his teammates, one of their teammates?
That's a good question.
Like, is one in
They're also
Minneapolis
fighting
and
for venues.
one is in Duluth or something? And can you get to both? Yeah. Or what if they go like 10 a.m., noon, 2, and 4 at the same venue?
Yes.
And just have like an 8-hour wedding.
Yes. And just rotate them.
Yeah.
Guests just stay seated.
Wedding pictures, wedding pictures, yeah, you could go all day and then have a huge reception afterwards.
And then it's a huge party.
Yeah.
See, that's good. Okay. There's your solution, Minnesota Twins. all four of you, enjoy your weddings. We'll do a rotating wedding all on November 14th. All right. Hey, do you feel any better now this morning?
Yeah, I feel good. I felt good all show. I thought it was a great show.
That's not true.
I thought it was a great two shows.
You were grumpy today.
Not grumpy.
You were not wanting to celebrate a Brewers victory. You were more
What's there to celebrate? Job's not finished.
Okay, Kobe. I get it. Yep. It's a little bit different of a situation.
Good win. That was nice.
Oh, boy.
Each win is a good win. Nothing more, nothing less.
Tomorrow on the show, for the first time in morning show history, I will be here, and Steve Sparky Pfeiffer will be here at the same time. We were supposed to have Sparky on every Friday with us, and then he was busy. Then I was out.
Us, yeah.
This is happening. I say this, and now he's going to text me and say, "Actually, tomorrow I can't."
Something came up.
Yeah, something. Sparky's scheduled to appear tomorrow on the show, on the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht, also on the Wisconsin Sports Wake Up Call, which is before the Steve Zabin Show with Josh Albrecht. Sparky will be here. Let's Go's and No-Nos on a Friday. All of the fun festivities as we head into another great Wisconsin weekend. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show. We appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, because we are not done yet.